All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with one more weekend in the regular season of this college football season, the race is on to be in position to make the college football playoff as that race has really, and I mean really, intensified. And with that said, who should be in the field of four? For me, number one is still Georgia. And I know that they are expected to beat Georgia Tech handily this coming weekend, but make no mistake about it, if Georgia wins that game, which they should, that means they're going to have an unblemished record in the regular season. And I've said it before, and I will continue to stand by that. Regardless of what happens in the SEC championship game against Alabama, Georgia is going to be in the college football playoff. For me, right now, number two, I'm going to go with Ohio State. And if you were not impressed by what Ohio State did yesterday to Michigan State by dominating them by the score of 56-7, then honestly, you need to mail it in. The Buckeyes are rolling. It's hard to believe that they lost this season, but we've seen in recent years from Ohio State, they start off slow and then they get that momentum and it just cascades for them. And they are peaking at just the right time. For me, number three is Alabama. I know that Alabama was number two last week. And they did face a ranked opponent yesterday in a very game Arkansas team. But with that said, it's not as much Alabama as it's more of what Ohio State did. So I'm gonna bring the tide down one notch. But the bottom line is they're still in the field of four. And obviously they can't lose. They got to take care of the business against Auburn this weekend in the Iron Bowl, and then of course Georgia in the SEC championship game. But I think the biggest thing is they got to make sure that they don't look past Auburn to the SEC championship game because then things are going to get very tricky for them. I'm going to look at Cincinnati as number four right now. After some shaky wins, Cincinnati they had a very convincing win at home yesterday against SMU. You still got that American Conference Championship game looming with Houston. And I think that is only going to help the cause of the Bearcats to become the first group of five school to make the playoff. Now, you're going to look at some teams that are in the mix. I'm going to go with Michigan right now at number five. Right now, obviously, Michigan is on the outside looking in. But with that said, Michigan controls their own destiny because if they beat Ohio State this Saturday, which a lot of people are not expecting them to do, but if they were to do that, along with winning the Big Ten championship, the Wolverines are in. For me, at number six right now, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. And the Cowboys control their own destiny, but they're going to have to beat Oklahoma in consecutive games to do it more than likely. And it's a situation where, the toughest thing to do is beat a team twice, but Oklahoma State is doing it with their defense and their running game this year, something that we have not seen out of this Mike Gundy program in years past. For me at number seven right now, I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they have a shot, but it's a long shot. And, beating Stanford, as they're expected to do this weekend, while also not playing in a conference championship game is really going to hurt their cause because everybody else is going to be home. I mean, they're going to be home, and like a lot of these other contending teams are going to be in a conference championship game that's only going to help their respective cases. And then at number eight, I'm going to go Oklahoma. And, people are not talking about Oklahoma. I know that they lost a couple of weeks ago to Baylor, but the Sooners only have one loss, and they've had their issues at the quarterback position, but they still have an opportunity to win the Big 12. They got to go through Oklahoma State. Can't believe for people who follow Oklahoma can't believe that they're saying that, but you know what? That is the case here in 2021. Oklahoma's one of the blue bloods of college football. We've seen them make the college football playoff on numerous occasions. And with that said, if Oklahoma's close, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to them for their case. Now, Michigan State, they're out. Obviously, they suffered their second loss of the season, and it was a bad one to Ohio State yesterday. And then the Pac 12 is done. We saw Oregon fall on the road to Utah, and honestly, they really got the brakes beaten off of them. So now you got to go back to 2016 to find the last time that the Pac-12 made the college football playoff, and throughout the college football playoff history, Washington made it once and Oregon made it once. That is it for the Pac-12. Of course, the ACC is done, and I think that was solidified yesterday when Wake Forest lost to Clemson. So right now we have two of the five Power Five conferences that are out of the mix. So we're going to either have a scenario where maybe two SEC teams get in, or a Group of Five team gets in. So it's going to be interesting to see. Um, right now, like I said last week, I can't go by what teams are in, but I'm going to say what conferences are in. And I think the SEC and Big Ten are definitely in. It's just going to be interesting to see how many SEC teams get in. I don't see two Big Ten teams getting in. But with that said, it's only going to intensify the opportunity for a Cincinnati to get in there. And I know some people are going to say, well, maybe the Bearcats sneak in. No, 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 no. Cincinnati, if they get in, they would have earned it. They've beaten everybody on their schedule. They went to Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame. And I don't think enough people give the American Athletic Conference enough respect. So for me, if the Bearcats do make the Field of Four, they will earn it. But like I said in the headline for this live here, it's that this coming Saturday, this Ohio State Michigan game, it's always a big game, but that game as well as the SEC championship game the following Saturday are going to go a very long way in determining this field of four. So with that said, we have some very good action on tap for this holiday weekend as well as the first Saturday of December, as we're a ways away from the college football playoff days wise, but the bottom line is we're going to find out much sooner rather than later who's going to be in that coveted field of four. So, with that said, folks, want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.